Today, I would be talking around a very, very important topic with majorly founders, executives, and investors in especially B2B companies out there in this modern era. Very much take into consideration, but yet does not work out in the longer run, which is your brand. Hey everyone, this is Nihil. I am a global brand consultant and a co founder and CEO at a brand consulting company that is Brandlinks Global. Now, building a brand generally is taken as something where a design person builds up a great logo, a catchy slogan, a catchy tagline. But neither of it actually works in the longer run. Talking around early stage founders, especially, and mid stage founders, what you are bringing to the table, to the industry, really, really matters more. And the biggest thing where companies out there start failing with time is they start sounding like everyone. They start looking like everyone, and the end customer somewhere starts feeling them, oh, this is something just like every other person. And that's where that complete excitement which you had when you were building that company goes into wane. Gradually, with time, customers start taking it all like a confusion. Your visuals just look like every other company. You prefer very similar templates designed by random freelancers, random developers, random agencies. And then same goes for design, same goes for your messaging. A random freelance copywriter brings you some messaging. A random designer brings you some design aspect, or maybe all of it turns up with an agency. The biggest issue where it lands up in the actual longer run is neither of this actually works because agencies basically bring you something which is like a decoration for you. Where is the actual meaning behind every single touch point? Is there specific brand clarity behind every single touch point you are being delivered? What is your USP? Maybe you might not be presently knowing it. And it is not something which you should be very, very much concerned of because that's a natural process. When you are at a building stage, it is completely okay to not know what you are completely building. And slowly with time, every person starts to explore. It's always a trial and error thing. Then what happens is that you simply land up to a company, let's say an agency or a freelancer. You ask them that this is what you've been looking forward to and this is how your vision is like. They come up to you with some discovery calls and then tell you, okay, that's so lovely, with heavy, heavy jargons coming up within those conversations. Oh, that looks nice. And then we'll just bring this to you, that to you. Gradually, with time, they give you some amazing decoration. But when it comes to business aspect, the GTM approach of it heavily lands into a wastage of money. The founder somewhere feels that he or she invested a lot, their time, their energy, their certain number of resources. And all of this started getting into wane. Where was the biggest concern? Do you have any idea? The biggest concern, I'll tell you, was in figuring out what works for you and why it should be made for you. Something which is specifically planned at every single touch point, from the nomenclature, which is your brand name. If you already have one, that's a great thing. From your brand name to your logo to your tagline and this is something which is not taken into consideration much, but what is taken into consideration even further is the way you approach your customer, your experience, your clarity, the type of voice you bring to the customer, and how clear you are with your offering, how detail driven you are with your offering. Founders start, considering that they might be able to make some great revenue out there if they start targeting everyone. There are hundreds of questions one needs to go through, and that's where you require Brand consultants. A brand consultant is somebody who helps you figure out what's firstly wrong you are doing right now, what should be done, and why it will work for you. And slowly with time, you see something which gets into shape actually does not just look good, but it has a clear message for your customer, not for you. Agencies here cut this crap. They try to make you happy instead not taking your customer into consideration. A clear path should not be delivered to the founder, but a clear path should be delivered to the end customer, the end buyer. And that's how consumer psychology works. That's where consultants come into play. What is the clear plan? This is step one, consultants do. Secondly, do you have a real story? If not, how a real story can be brought into play and how your customers can actually relate with it. So, your brand clarity. Third, how your messaging is being pushed, your offering is being pushed. Just like we are the top leaders doing this, that, choose the top leading agency, choose the top tech leader out there. And again, every single person within a span of 5 seconds get that, touch point. Everything generic, maybe some template coming into play. And that's where you start losing the trust of those clients of yours. Gradually, you start getting into lengthy sales cycles. You start getting clients which are like penny pickers, very much intensively emphasizing onto negotiation. The biggest reason, when people will not see value in you and your offering, they'll start looking for value in their own penny they are investing. They'll instantly come to negotiation that my penny is much more worth than your time and your offering. That's where, your brand story should be very much crystal clear of how it should be placed at every single touch point. And the second aspect of this shortens your sales cycles because the customer is now able to feel that trust. He or she is able to see a crystal clear messaging on every experience of yours. It starts firstly from your website, secondly on your socials, thirdly on the papers you bring. Let's say it could be your digital experiences onto several social channels, your company reports, your pitch decks, and same goes with investors. Think about a fact. Let's say you pitch out yourself in search of a partner when, let's say, you're going for dating. They don't choose you just like anything. They completely scan you head to toe. And that's where they start to make a decision that should they invest in you or they shouldn't. The same goes with your customer. The same goes with your investor. Long-term stability is what people look forward to. And that's where consultants come into play. So how this step actually works is like, as a global brand consultant who already has worked with more than 100 plus projects in more than 18 plus nations, whenever I consult people, whenever I consult with founders and executives, I have lately seen that the meaning that they have for branding is like, it could be just a logo, some nice decoration and design aspect. But no, it is not. Let me tell you, it is not. It is every single experience which you give to your customer. The way you speak, the way your brand speaks, the way your brand looks, the way your brand defines their offering or its offering, and the way you treat your customers, the end customer experience as well. And it is a complete stage-wise process that how we as consultants actually do it. Firstly, we spot what actually is missing in your brand. And then we start planning out all the gaps. After doing a complete gap analysis, we then start putting up small segments which bridge these gaps. Just like, there are holes in there are gaps in there. We start building them with intensively detailed plans so that a complete smooth story could be built in there. Secondly, If you're sounding like everyone, now how will even AI tell you? Lot many agencies, lot many founders again make this mistake. They start asking AI, what is their USP? How will AI know that? And then the same thing comes up. The end customer is extremely judgmental as always. You're going for dating, you're being judged. Accept it. They simply get it. Generic content must be chat GPT or any AI copied content. So it doesn't make really great sense. And then again, you land up in the same hole. Penny picker clients, extremely negotiable, and then you hardly make any money. What in the other half of the game turns up why people or how these industry leaders actually close stronger deals. Because firstly, they have a very crystal clear messaging. This is what they offer. They don't cater everyone. They instead cater a small pool of people, but they cater it with the most best potential out there. Secondly, how all of this should not be guesswork. Generally, you would see digital marketing companies, agencies, not everyone, but majorly what these people do is random guesswork. So, how about you go for advertisements? How about you go for this or that? It's great, but the first aspect is whatever is being marketed, is it worth marketing at present? It's like you are just advertising an empty room you consider is a showroom. Like cracked walls, hardly people are seeing any experience, and you're just putting out advertisements out there. People will come to that place. They will land up. The moment they would see the overall experience and they would feel like it's just fluff. Again, a digital brag. So, making yourself firstly market ready, launch ready is what consultants bring to the table. Spotting these issues and building you one of a kind. So, which is why I got into play and I saw these loopholes coming up within the industry. And that's when I built Brandlinks Global. Back in 2022, I realized that certain number of such experiences is what founders face and hardly anyone guides them, which is why I built Brandlinks Global, which is a brand consulting and transformation company where we take every single customer of ours, every single client of ours through three rigorous processes of planning. Firstly, powered by neuroscience. Every single thing should be science backed. Every single full stop should have a why. If it is red in color, why it is red in color. Why it is not black. Why it is red. There should be a reason. Secondly, we do not plan to make our clients happy. We plan to make the customer to our client happy. That is our end goal. We consider the end customer as the part of the game, instead the client we are assisting through in the process. Lastly, every single thing should have a touch point of meaning and purpose. After rigorous audit, rigorous planning, when every single thing is done with very handpicked resources, things shape faster, but things even shape stronger. You do not have to come into play that change this or change that. Because when every single thing is coming on paper with a meaning, you are able to grasp it, you're able to feel it at every single touch point. And if you are someone who is looking forward to get yourself an experience, which is completely driven with meaning, driven with value, and when you prefer, and if you prefer that your customer is whom you are building this business for, we could be people who could, just partner up on a better cause. So, if this is something which interests you, we are just a conversation away. Until then, keep building, keep doing a lot of brainstorming, and good luck.